up, my man? Shout out J Calderon Boxing, the Golden Boy.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy, J Calderon, Stand Clear Entertainment, and we're about to get into this week's boxing talk. We're going to do a recap over the fight that took place this past weekend, and then we're also going to talk about the upcoming fight this Saturday with the Charlo brothers. But first up, it was Mexico's biggest star, Canelo Alvarez, stepping up to the 168-pound super middleweight division and making history, becoming a 3-division world champion when he stepped into the ring against Rocky Fielding. This was a very easy fight for Canelo Alvarez. He took him apart in just 3 rounds, dropping him down to the canvas 4 times in this fight. Just like I said, Canelo Alvarez was going to go to the body in my previous video. He did exactly that. He hit him with some beautiful body shots that dropped him in the first round, and we saw from the very first round that Rocky could not take it to the body, and this man was dropped again in the second round with a beautiful body attack. And then in the third round, he got dropped 2 more times with a right hand shot that put Rocky down to the canvas, and Canelo Alvarez finished him off with a wicked left hook to the body, and the referee called the fight. Canelo Alvarez wins the secondary WBA super middleweight title. Now he holds titles in 2 weight classes because he is still the middleweight champion of the world. So where will Canelo Alvarez fight next? At 160 or 168 pounds? I believe that he's going to go back down to the middleweight division for a Cinco de Mayo fight in perhaps Las Vegas. And that's a fight that we all want to see against Daniel Jacobs, who was at ringside, and he saw the fight and he stepped to Canelo at the end of the fight to congratulate him. It wasn't none of that back and forth smack talk. He wants to fight. He let it be known that he wants to have this fight with Canelo Alvarez, and it's a great fight matchup. It's a matchup that a lot of boxing fans would love to see, and it's a matchup where I believe Canelo Alvarez will beat Daniel Jacobs, but I'm rooting for the Brooklyn boy, and that's my guy, Daniel Jacobs, and I would love for him to get that fight. Now, David Lemieux was the front runner to get the Canelo Alvarez fight in the middleweight division next, but he was pulled from the undercard because he was dehydrated and he was hospitalized because he couldn't make the 160-pound weight limit. So now he is not going to be able to fight Canelo Alvarez at that weight class. But there's also still a possibility that he can move up to 168 pounds and face Canelo Alvarez there, where Canelo has the world title. So that fight is still a possibility for Canelo Alvarez if he decides to defend that title next. Or does he move down to face Daniel Jacobs? And that's a fight where the live stream network, DAZN, wants to make that fight next. They got both fighters signed to their network and they want this fight, and they gave a lot of money to Canelo Alvarez. So Canelo Alvarez can't be fighting a bunch of guys that a lot of people are not interested in because they want more subscribers. They want more people to tune into DAZN, and they're going to push for the big fights. So Canelo Alvarez, I believe, will fight Daniel Jacobs next in Cinco de Mayo. I look forward to that fight. I'll definitely be in Las Vegas for that fight, and I can't wait. I think it's going to be a great matchup for Canelo Alvarez. A lot of people are screaming about how come he is not going to fight Charlo, who is the mandatory #1 contender and holds a WBC interim middleweight title at 160 pounds. You know, the politics of boxing is going to prevent this fight from happening. The fact of the matter is that Al Heyman will not allow any of his top-rated fighters to go off of their network to fight on another network. It's just not going to happen. He'll let his lesser fighters fight on other networks, but not his big name fighters going over to DAZN to fight Canelo Alvarez. And the fact that the WBC does basically nothing, they want Canelo Alvarez happy and Golden Boy happy, so they're going to allow him to get these voluntary defenses. They're going to prolong that mandatory challenge for Canelo Alvarez against Charlo, and they're going to allow him to fight basically who he wants to fight or who Golden Boy puts in front of him. And that's just the politics of boxing that boxing fans really don't understand, and they really hate about the sport of boxing right now. And that's just something that we have no control and we can't do nothing about. So we just have to wait and see how this all plays out. But the Charlo brothers are going to be fighting this Saturday on December 22nd in Brooklyn, New York at the Barclays Center, and it's a good matchup for both guys. We just found out that Willie Monroe Jr. is out of the fight days before the fight is supposed to take place against Jermall Charlo, the WBC 160-pound interim middleweight champion, and that's because he tested positive for steroids. Very disappointing in Willie Monroe Jr. I like this guy a lot. Can't believe he tested positive, but we have to dig a little deeper and find out what did he really get tested positive for. But the show is still gonna go on. They put a replacement already with Russian Olympian Matt Korobov. This guy right here is a solid middleweight. He hasn't lived up to his potential. He was an excellent amateur fighter, but he hasn't shown in the professional rankings that he is worthy for a world title shot. But nevertheless, he's getting a great opportunity to fight in the main event of this card because he was already on the undercard and now he got moved up to the main event. And it's a good fight. Now, is he a better fighter than Willie Monroe? I believe he's a tougher fighter than Willie Monroe. Monroe is a better defensive fighter, more of a slicker boxer, doesn't have much punching power as the Russian. But they're both southpaws, so Jermell Charlo, who was already training for a southpaw, gets to stay on track. He's gonna have to fight a different style southpaw because Korobov is a more aggressive fighter. He has quick hands, he has really good power, but he's a little bit of a wild swinger when he gets into the ring. You know, he throws those looping shots, and he's gonna pressure a guy like Charlo, but he's gonna play right into Charlo's hands because Charlo is gonna be able to find him easily throughout this fight because he's gonna stand right in front of him, and it's gonna be a very explosive, entertaining fight. But just like the Russian proved when he stepped up against Andy Lee, you know, he couldn't take Andy Lee's punching power, and he was stopped in that fight. And that's the only loss that he has had throughout 29 professional fights. So I believe that Charlo will score a knockout in this fight and look spectacular doing it, but it'll be an entertaining fight. We don't really know what to expect from this Russian because he hasn't lived up to what he did in the amateur rankings. They talked about him as an amateur star, so we don't really know what he really has deep down inside. Has he improved since that loss to Andy Lee? It's been a very long road back to the top to get this opportunity right now. And like I said, I don't think he really earned it because he hasn't fought anybody to really prove himself worthy of a big opportunity like this. But he's very fortunate now to get this opportunity, and he's gonna have to show a dogfight against Charlo to see where Charlo really lies in this middleweight division, because Charlo is gonna most likely run through this guy and really make all the fans that believe in him, you know, seem as a monster in this division that everyone is avoiding. And the Charlo brothers, they're great, talented young fighters, but these guys have not done anything to prove worthy of the big fights like Canelo Alvarez or Triple G. You know, I believe they should be fighting guys like Demetrius Andre or even Daniel Jacobs to really prove themselves before stepping in to the ring with Canelo Alvarez. That's just my opinion. On the undercard, you have WBC junior middleweight champion Jermell Charlo, who's going to be taking on Tony Harrison. That's a very good, solid fight. Harrison is a good contender in the junior middleweight division. He can box well. He has very good punching power, and it should be an exciting fight. It's going to be a great night of boxing with action-packed fights with these two fights on the card. And I look forward to watching these fights on Fox Television Network for all boxing fans to watch it on regular TV. It's going to be a very good treat Christmas weekend. And you know the Charlo brothers are going to come out victorious in both fights and move on to bigger and better things, hopefully in 2019, where they really get to challenge themselves against really steep competition. And the top fights finally get to happen for them, especially the unification fight at 154 pounds with Jarrett Swift Hurd versus Jermell Charlo, because that's the fight that we really want to see in the 154-pound junior middleweight division. That's a great fight, and it's a fight that's not going to happen until perhaps the summer or the ending of 2019, because they already said that Jarrett Hurd is in negotiations with Julian J. Rock Williams, which is a good, solid fight as well, and he's still trying to get right after coming off an injury, and he wanted to test to see if he recovered from that injury in his last fight when he fought that soft-touch opponent where he knocked him out with a body shot in the third round. Very easy fight for him. You know, a lot of people are making a big deal because he got hit a couple of times. That dude had no punching power whatsoever, and he let him get off his shots. So now he's going to step up and face a better opponent in J-Rock. J-Rock could box, he could bang. It's going to be a good fight. We know that his chin is kind of suspect because he was knocked out against Charlo, but I believe that it's going to be a good fight, and I believe that Jarrett Hurd could possibly stop J-Rock as well. And then we're going to see another fight with Jermell Charlo against another opponent, and then the build-up will end up perhaps in the summertime or late 2019 for the title unification between these two. And I can't wait because it's going to be an explosive, great fight. And I got Jerry Swift hurt on that fight. I got to tell you, I believe that he is the best fighter in the division, and I think that he will beat Jermell Charlo. That's just my opinion. So tune in to Premier Boxing Champions this Saturday, December 22nd, on Fox Television Network. It's going down at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. I would like to thank everyone for tuning in to this YouTube channel right here, J. Calderon Boxing Talk. Please hit that little red subscribe button. Put your email information in so you get all my notifications. Once I drop a new video, hit that bell icon as well. Hit that like button, that share button, drop a comment. Please follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, and join the Facebook boxing group page, all under the same name, J. Calderon Boxing Talk. I'm J. Calderon, Stand Clear Entertainment. Thanks for your support. Keep watching, and please subscribe.